Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes are scheduled to hold a massive recruiting weekend starting Friday, June 9th, going throughout the weekend, where they will host 4 top 10 national prospects according to the 24/7 Sports composite rankings in Collin Simmons, Ellis Robinson, David Stone, and Dylan Stewart. We're going to talk a little bit about what this recruiting weekend means for the Hurricanes, and then what Mario Cristobal is really trying to do with this 2024 class, because you kind of are noticing a trend with who they're really putting a lot of their attention to on the trail in 2024. Now, before we get into it again, just want to say thank you to you guys, especially the Miami Hurricanes fans. You guys have been absolutely awesome. Whether we're talking transfer portal, whether we're talking high school recruiting, you guys have been awesome supporting the fellas. So if you do enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. And we talk a lot of recruiting, partly just because I'm kind of a nerd and I like kind of digging into the young talent that's entering college football. But secondly, it's just simply one of the most important factors in winning games on Saturdays in the fall. Like, there is a direct correlation between bringing in talent at the high school ranks and winning football games on Saturdays. So we talk a lot about it in the summer months. And if you are watching recruiting videos in the middle of June, you are certainly about it. So again, lock in if you do enjoy it. And let's get into what Miami is hosting this weekend. And I think I first want to just start with, what is Mario Cristobal really trying to do with this class? I think he's really attacking the defensive line, particularly the interior defensive line. And you see it highlighted by a guy like David Stone, who reportedly up to 290 pounds. If you see what he looks like, if you see the film, he seems like a 3-tech interior kind of guy at the next level. But we'll kind of take a look at some of the other weekends, and you're seeing Mario Cristobal really kind of covet the interior defensive lineman, having a little bit more physicality in the trenches. It's something that they addressed in the transfer portal a lot. I think Mario Cristobal and the staff kind of saw that, hey, we got to get some bigger bodies on the inside of this defensive line. So you're seeing him target that, not only in the transfer portal, but this 2024 class. But the D-line in general, like a lot of edge rushers coming in, they did a very good job getting guys like Jared Wayne and Ruben Bain in the 2023 class. And they're seemingly going after some more pass rushers in 2024. Let's kind of talk a little bit about each of these prospects coming in. And although these guys are our 4 top 10 national prospects, we will scroll down the list. Like, there are some really talented guys that will be on campus June 9th. So let's start at the top here with Collin Simmons. He's a top 5 national prospect from Texas. From what I hear, LSU and Texas are kind of the leaders, but he's a guy that's taking a plethora of visits. And you've seen official visit weekends. Clemson just had a massive one, and they landed 3 commitments out of that weekend. Official visit weekends are massive, and the Miami Hurricanes have a chance to kind of really entice a guy like Collin Simmons to come play. And one of those selling points is that he's going to enter potentially a 2024 class that is extremely talented. When you get a bunch of top 10 national ranked dudes on the campus at the same time, probably looking around and saying this could be something special if we all choose Miami. Now, they had a phenomenal edge class in 2023, so playing time might be a question, but a guy like Collin Simmons is probably not too concerned about playing time because he's going to find the field. That's how talented a guy like Collin Simmons is. The next guy I want to talk about a little bit, though, is Ellis Robinson IV. So he's a Georgia commit, but he's been to Miami's campus. I think this will be his 3rd or 4th time in like the last 2 months visiting Miami. He was at Mario Cristobal's pool party that I think he had as an unofficial visit weekend a couple of weeks ago. If there's a team that kind of flips Ellis Robinson, I do think it's the Miami Hurricanes. He is, yes, he's committed to Georgia, but he is taking a lot of visits, and particularly he's taking a lot of visits to Miami. He's the number 1 cornerback in this class, and he has pretty much checks every single box that you want, right? 6'1", 190 pounds, moves extremely well. And I think another interesting selling point is getting him around some of his IMG Academy boys, right? Like, he played with a lot of guys in the 2023 class from IMG. He's going to be visiting with David Stone, who also plays with him at IMG in this 2024 class. Again, I know he's committed to Georgia. It's going to be hard to flip his commitment, but it does seem like he's taking a pretty strong look at Miami. And you could honestly say the same thing for a guy like David Stone, who it seems like it's Oklahoma and Michigan State, but David Stone's another one of those guys that he's taking visits everywhere. And because he's so close to Miami, having playing ball at IMG, he's been to Miami a bunch. I believe this is his third visit in the last 2 months. And at the end of the day, it's a lot of what recruiting comes down to is just following what these guys are doing. Like, they can say that they like Oklahoma or Michigan State, but if all those visits are going to Miami, if he probably likes Miami a lot too, it's at this point, it's almost like the actions speak louder than their words. Like Ellis Robinson, you're committed to Georgia. What are your actions telling me? You're visiting Miami a lot. You're probably interested into Miami. Dylan Stewart, another interesting one, and another one that's really early on in this recruitment. The thing I want to talk about more than just what are their chances of landing these guys is there are certain teams across the country that would be lucky to get one official visit from a top 10 dude nationally. You look at a team like Michigan, I think they have Ryan Wingo coming on campus and Justin Scott. I think that's it for their top 10 national prospects that are taking official visits. Miami has 4 in the same weekend. And so, yes, it's going to be a battle for a lot of these guys, but if you throw your hat in the race with all of these top 10 national prospects, you might hit on a few of these guys. And David Stone, Dylan Stewart are two guys that maybe Miami's not the leader for, but if you can get them on campus consistently, you're starting to feel really good about your chances of maybe landing 1 or 2 of these guys. And at that point, if you can land 2 of these guys that are going to be taking official visits, I mean, that's going to be a massive bolster to this 2024 class that, yes, has started maybe a little bit slow. Another guy I want to talk about, Aiden Breland, who is out on the West Coast playing at Mater Dei. This is also not going to be his first time visiting Miami. Brandon Baker, his teammate offensive tackle, also has taken a liking to Miami. Getting a guy to go across the country from California to Miami, it's big time. And Aiden Breland, I think, is kind of – him and Justin Scott are the two guys that I think perfectly embody what Mario Cristobal is trying to do with this class, and that is get some big bodies on that inside of that defensive line. You saw it last year. They go in and address the offensive side of the ball at the trenches. Francis Malyoga, Pancake Honcho, Aiden Breland, Justin Scott. Those guys seem to be the priorities for Miami in this 2024 class. And yes, they want some edge guys, but it does seem like Justin Scott, Aiden Breland, those are the guys that Mario Cristobal really kind of pouring all his efforts into landing some of those guys. And I really do think having a guy like Jason Taylor in these guys' ears when they're on campus is going to be big. A lot of these guys probably grew maybe a little young, but grew up knowing of Jason Taylor. And when you have that pedigree, I think that resonates with a lot of these young pass rushers. Going down the list, again, Jarek Gibson's a guy that Texas seems to be all over him, but another IMG kid, the number 2 running back. With Mark Fletcher in the fold a year above him, I don't know if you're landing a top running back, but that being said, it's kind of gone with the days where you want to have a bell cow running back. I think even some of these running backs now say, I don't know if I want to take 250, 300 carries a year for 3 or 4 years at college. Because guess what? NFL teams don't like that. Like, yes, it's nice to be a bell cow. It's nice to get the touches to show what you're capable of. But you don't want to run your legs into the ground at the college football level. So I don't think having a guy like Fletcher above Jarek Gibbs, who Mark Fletcher, by the way, in that 2023 class, massive fan of him. Like, I think 24/7 Sports, what's he ranked, 150? That dude's a stud. But Jarek Gibson's another guy that, I wouldn't be surprised if Jarek Gibson strongly considering Miami. He's been on campus. Again, another IMG kid. That's kind of the storyline in this recruiting class. Ellis Robinson, David Stone, Jarek Gibson, 3 IMG kids all visiting. TJ Lindsey is a guy who transfers to IMG this year. It's going to be an interesting one. And then LJ McCray and TJ Lindsey, kind of the same type of guys we're talking about. LJ McCray seems to be more of an interior guy. If you see his body type, it looks like you could put 30, 40 pounds and get him 6'6", 300 pounds when he's playing at the college football level. And TJ Lindsey, very similar outlook, right? He's already developed. He already looks like he could be playing college football, but it's going to be a massive weekend for Miami. And again, I don't know if they're going to be able to land 3 or 4 of these guys, but if you even land one of these guys, take your pick, Collin Simmons, Ellis Robinson, David Stone, or Dylan Stewart, like, it's still going to be a massive bolster to this class. And then heading up the field, this is the guy that I think a lot of Miami fans are talking about. He's not on campus this weekend. He's at Michigan this weekend, I believe. Miami suddenly getting a lot of traction. If you see the crystal balls, Justin Scott trending to Miami. I wonder if Miami can close it out on June 16th, that official visit weekend. it seems like Justin Scott is the guy in this class. They are putting not all their chips, but they're putting a lot of effort on the recruiting trail to land a guy like Justin Scott. Why do you think that is? I think that's the number one position that Mario Cristobal is looking at this class and saying, we got to get some guys. And it's probably pretty easy not easy. It's never easy to get these 5 stars. But you can probably sell some playing time, right? This is an interior defensive line that Leonard Taylor maybe going to the NFL draft in 2024. Justin Scott is seemingly a guy that, one, he's ready to play college football year one. 2, you're probably going to have a pretty easy pathway to the football field playing time-wise as a true freshman and second-year kid with this Miami Hurricanes football team. So I think those are the storylines that I'm taking a look at for Miami. Is they want to bolster this interior defensive line in a big way. Justin Scott, Aiden Breland, David Stone kind of represent what Miami's trying to do in this 2024 class. Again, Mario Cristobal is one of the best in the game at the talent acquisition standpoint. He is a dog on a bone when it comes to recruiting. I've heard stories of him starting his days at 4 a.m. with a big whiteboard, just texting recruits all morning. That's how he spends his morning. This dude is one of the best at formulating relationships, and he's one of the best at landing prospects. You saw it in the 2023 class. It's a slow start to 2024 class in terms of top-end commitments. I think they'll start coming in after the summer kind of kicks off. Again, appreciate you guys. Wanted to just kind of update you guys on what Miami is doing on the recruiting trail because we have so many Miami fans that just have supported us. So we want to talk some Hurricanes football. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.